sometimes I just fantasize about blowing at somebody's brains out so I can go to prison for the rest of my life. Working on this book makes me think that my whole life has been a joke. I'm a dark and jaded mother. So I want to begin with an image. Here is the cover of your book. No words on the cover, just your photo. I'd like you to react to what you see there.
Oh, wow. A reluctant surrender. Yeah.
What did you say?
A reluctant surrender.
A reluctance to surrender.
Yeah. I gave my whole fight, and it's time to give it up. It's time to stop and let go and let God. I did all I can do humanly, and now it's time for me to let God lead the way.
In January 2003, you had a tattoo put on your face, and you said, I hated my face. I literally wanted to deface myself. It's in the book.
Yeah.
An amazing comment.
I don't know. I don't think it's that amazing. The things I say, I don't think it's as profound as what many people may think is profound. I just think it's my feelings of what I felt at the particular moment, you know. And I always had a very complex life, and I never had a good psychological opinion about myself, and that's because of my upbringing and my view on my life and my view of my whole barometer as a person. And so I never grasped that love of that particular identity of myself.
You've told the story, but I'd love our audience to hear a little bit about what this tattoo is.
Well, listen, I was high. I was smoking some weed and drinking. And I went to this gentleman. I said, I want a tattoo on my face. And I wanted the tattoo. I wanted, what did I want? I wanted hearts or something on my face. I wanted something ridiculous on my face.
And lots of them.
Yeah, lots of them. And he wouldn't do it. And he said, no, I'm not going to do that. And he said, I don't do no racist stuff. I don't do no disgusting stuff. I do only art. And he said, come back in a week and I'll look for something. And then he came back and he said, I found some tribal markings. And then I changed a few things. And I said, yeah, I'll try that. And then this is what we came with.
And it's a tribal
symbol
Maori, from Maori.
Yeah, from the New Zealand indigenous people.
The fact that in this you have included so many sides of yourself, the great with the despicable, the strong with the less strong, your whole existence in some way. I was thinking of a line of George Orwell, where he says, autobiography is only to be trusted when it reveals something disgraceful. A man who gives a good account of himself is probably lying, since any life, when viewed from the inside, is simply a series of defeats.
Well, now that's pretty profound, but I just actually don't believe somebody's going to read this book and say, whoa, I'm envious of this guy's life and I'm jealous of this guy. They're not going to do that if they read this book. I don't think they're going to get that.
What do you hope to inspire then? I'm
not here to inspire anything. I hope I wasn't here under those pretenses. I'm just...
No. I'm not. You're not here under those pretenses. But I'm wondering what this book. I mean, you can't obviously know how people will react to it.
I've never understand the concept. How do I express this? I've never expressed this. I was never able to understand the concept of greatness. I just never was able to understand that concept of greatness. And all greatness in itself doesn't come with goodness. The two don't coexist with one another. And I spent all my life trying to become great because I had such a low self-esteem. And I realized late in life, well, I'm saying I'm 47, but late in my life, that all great men are not good men. And then so I tried to embark on a whole different career and try to become good. But what's the concept of good? Being a floor mat? I never understood the concept of good. So how do we live in those two dimensions at once. You want that greatness for self-gratification, but you want goodness from a human perspective. And I really have no idea, no clue how do I juggle both of them and be in harmony. And then in all actuality, they don't exist. You have to pick a side.
What are the qualities you admire in people?
Yes, desire. I respect a person who's willing to die for what he truly wants, even if it's love, even if it's a woman, whatever it is that he truly believes in, and that he believes that it transcends him to that level to demand. For love, for instance, I look at love as a command to just rise to your greatest potential. If it's to lose 30 pounds, if it's to pass a test, it should be to win a fight, to be admired by people all over the world. It should allow you to rise to your greatest potential, that you look at yourself in the most grandest fashion.
Now, I'd like us to go on a journey, on the journey of your fight. It's a journey of the book. It's a journey of where you started out in New York, in Brooklyn, in Brownsville,
okay,
and where you ended tonight at the New York Public Library.
We don't have enough time for that.
No, wait, no.
We don't have enough.
No. We won't go through all of it, I promise you. But
wow, this is interesting. My mother's she's a Southern woman from the Virginia area, and this is what I found out later. And I only can remember for a small period of, real small increment of my life that I lived in Bedford-Stuyvesant in the early, middle 70s. Eventually, we had to move. We were evicted. We had to leave the house. All of our furniture was really politely decorated, the concrete outside, so we had to, me and my brother, I guess we had to sit on the furniture to wait till my mother can get a place for us to stay. And it was just after that, it was pretty much hard times, welfare, when we moved to Brownsville, which was a much more aggressive neighborhood. And it just wasn't good. It was just crime-infested, drug-infested neighborhood, and it was very aggressive. And my mother had knew a lot of men. Her and her friends knew a lot of men. It wouldn't be abnormal for me to come from one of my friends' houses, to come from outside a man and a woman is in one of my mother's room, or my mother's in a room with a man and a woman, and we can't go in the room, but we have to stay outside in the kitchen, perhaps, or the living room, and we can't go in the back of the room until they're finished. I learned how to steal at a young age.
Very young age.
Yeah, very young. I learned how to steal. I learned how to, when my mother's friends were in her house, they were drinking, I learned to go in their house from a fire escape and rob their house while they were downstairs drinking with my mother. And that's just what I learned to do in my life.
But stopping school at a very, very early age.
Well, people used to pick on me in school. Cause,
they bullied you. I mean, you had such an
They bullied me, yeah. But, yeah, they used to bully me in school. And so I never went back to school. So when my mother used to send me to school, I would just be hanging around the school, walking around the school. And if normally we have security guards, the truants officer that see me, I would take off and run or hide in a building, abandoned building. But normally, my mother knew I wasn't going to school. Then I met some guys one day, and they pursued to ripping me off, and they realized I didn't have no money. But on lunchtime, I used to go in school and eat lunch, and then leave school again. So, especially when they had meatballs and spaghetti. So, one time these guys, they wanted to rip me off, and I didn't have no money, so they asked me, do you want to fly birds with me? So I said, what do you mean? They said, you want to fly with us? And then I realized that they took me to this abandoned building, but they wanted me to get my milk. The milk, climb the fence and throw milk crates over to them. And I didn't understand why they wanted the milk crates, but I did it anyway, because I was kind of scared. And then they took me to this abandoned building. I didn't know what they were going to do to me in that building, So when I went up there, I saw on the roof, they had pigeons. And then after that, I never went to school again. Once I found that I had a pigeon coop, and I could be these guys' flunkies and go to the store for them and if the birds were horrible, they were in horrible conditions, so the birds would fly for a little while, then they'd land on another roof, and then make me get up and go on that roof, sure, and get the birds off the roof. So I would go to all these roofs that the lady birds flew on and scare the birds off, hoping that they would go back to the roof where the guys were. And I thought that was pretty cool because I felt wanted because at least somebody wanted me to do something for them. So the next day, instead of going back around, walking around school, I went to the pigeon coop. And the guy saw me and he said, "Excuse me, young man." They said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And they started throwing bricks at me and while they were on the roof. And I said, hey, I just came around to see you guys need me to do anything for y'all today, like help with the birds or go to the store for you, that's all. But they had thought that I was coming back around to steal their birds. And I had no concept of stealing birds back then. So I just, and I said, okay, yeah, sure, you can come. But I'm a young kid, I had no concept of, you had to wash. Yeah, and so when I went to the center, I said, oh, fuck. I still had the bird shit on me from the, so I still have the bird shit and all the stuff, the tar and stuff from being in the pigeon coop, helping them build the coop. So, you know, we have tar paper, so we have to put the tar paper in the coop. And we're doing our own little home design network on there, right? And so I have tar on me and I have bird done on me. And so when we go back, I never went home and washed. I just had the same clothes I had on. And when I went there, the kids that was on the roof that brought me to the roof, they all had new clothes on. And they all laughed at me. And everybody started laughing at me, and I was scared and embarrassed. I started laughing too. And one of the guys that was on the roof, he had said, "What the fuck, you dirty little motherfucker? What you come around here looking like that? Don't you ever wash?" And he said, "You better meet me at the roof. Meet me tomorrow, motherfucker. Meet me at the roof where the birds where you met me today." Even though that guy wasn't his pigeons, but he was there. He was looking for one of those other guys' brothers. He was older. He said, "Meet me at the roof. You hear me, shorty? Meet me at the fucking pigeon coop. Where you were today?" And I'm a schmuck. I'm like El Schmucko. So I met him early in the morning, just like when you're going to school. So I met him at the pigeon coop. And from then on, me and him started robbing houses. He taught me how to rob houses.
He taught you how to pick locks.
Well, that too, but he taught me how to rob the houses. And because I was younger than him, so he would tell me to ring the doorbell, knock on the door.
Perhaps what was one of the most important experiences for you, meeting Castamato. You say about him, there wasn't a happy muscle in his face.
No, this is an awesome man. Listen, this guy only he reminds me of Edmond Dante from The Count of Monte Cristo. This guy was always, till the day he died, he's always planning his revenge and his comeback for the people that put him in self-exile from boxing. These guys are dead and he's still planning revenge on these guys. And he's planning revenge on the guys who worked for this guy, but didn't like the guy anyway either. But he wants to go after them too, just because they worked for him, you know. But they it was just crazy. They didn't have nothing against us, but Cus hated those people just because they knew him in any kind of capacity, and he always planned for his great comeback in boxing.
Tell us what he said to you and the incredible impact he had on you. In some way, he's not only a mentor, but he's also nearly a medium.
I never, in my whole, listen, this is really interesting.
Number 3.
He's telling me, what this guy always tells me, he says, I'm allowing my mind to get the better of me. Your mind, you don't have your mind on your work. You're not being disciplined. He really knew that. He always believed that his mind could heal anything. He believed if he had cancer, his mind could heal cancer. He was a strong believer that your body only purpose was to carry your brain. And, he was just amazing, man.
Tell me more. Tell me more, because he had such a huge impact on you. He told you things early on that nobody had told you before, and he believed in you in a way that nobody had paid attention to you before. You went up to his gym, he heard you walking up, he saw in you something quite immediately.
Wow, I can't say that because I might get emotional, and I don't want to really.
He taught you some techniques, which I'd like you to demonstrate slightly.
No, I don't know.
The peekaboo. I mean, I was trying to understand what that all meant.
Well, the peekaboo is a really
I don't know if he's
No,
showing you that.
It was really
there.
a cruel style of boxing. It basically kept both your hands up, and then basically you twist at your waist and you move, and you come forward, make the guy miss, you counter punching, and it was pretty much it's really pretty much he really discovered it from karate. He watched karate people do it, and just move, get to one position and punch with everything you got with bad and mean, ferocious intention. And most of his fighting was mostly psychologically. He believed the physical actuality of boxing was only 10% when the mind was 90%. He really, I never had, this is really interesting. When I met Cuz, even though I was a street kid and I was come with like a tough kid, I never had an ego. I was never really jealous of anybody. I never really thought much of myself. But when I met Cuz and I started talking to Cuz, he made me believe that I was a god. He made me believe that, for instance, Cuz would say this. Now, to Cuz would say, now you hear this? Because Cuz had a really, he had this really megalomaniac ego. He said, you let me tell you something. You, all the prophets, all the gods you ever know about, if they had a son, their son couldn't beat my fighter. Know why? Because he's my fighter.
But he also taught you he built that ego, but he also taught you how to be mean. He believed, there's a quotation here in the book where you say, Cus wanted the meanest fighter that God ever created, someone who scared the life out of people before they even entered the ring. He trained me to be totally ferocious in the ring and out.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was. That's what I was.
Yeah. You actually say in the book that most people assume that it's Ali, but it's really Duran for you. Why?
Wow. He was a street fighter like me.
You identified with
Yeah,
him.
he was cruel and mean. I never looked at I respected Ali and I worshiped Ali, but he was very tall and very handsome. I was very short and not so handsome, and I wasn't good looking. And he was very, articulate, and I spoke with a lisp. And I didn't relate to two besides we were black. Ali was a middle-class kid. He had a mother and father that both worked. My mother and father was in the sex industry. So and Roberta Duran's mother was pretty much, out there as well. And so I related to that. And I didn't have to change. I didn't have to change my diction. I didn't have to learn how to talk polite. I didn't have to be nice. I didn't have to have a proper linguistic skill. And so if he could be accepted and be worshipped that way, I thought I would be able to as well. 10 punches, check it out. Watch this. Watch my head.
Does it feel that way? It felt like a cosmic release here. Everybody just.
No,
what is it? I feel like asking you, what does it feel like to both be the recipient and to give these punches? Is there any? It's an experience which I don't think I'll ever have.
That's funny you say that because most people, what I do for a living, they avoid their whole entire life.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to make Cus proud. That was my whole existence for fighting. I wanted to make him proud. I never knew what it was like to have a fighter. A father. So now I understand what some kids must feel when they can't make their fathers happy. Because he would do anything for me. I was just, I don't think that way now. I was just disappointed that I didn't kill them back then. Because that was just my main objective, because I wanted to succeed so bad, and I failed, and the fear of not succeeding was worse than dying. So I just wanted to make sure they never got up. One day I said this, and well, I'm so happy that I don't think that way anymore. I was having an interview, and I started thinking about Cuss, because Cuss is pretty, you know, arrogant. And Cuss said, and I said one of Cuss words. I said, I was being interviewed, and I said, how many people in this planet? I said, what, around 5 billion people, 6 billion? I said I could beat every one of them in a fair fight. That's what I believed at the time, but it sounds so good to say that. And I can't believe I had the audacity to say that. Oh, he prepared me for all that stuff. Look, I was prepared for all that stuff when I was 16 years old. I was prepared for all that stuff.
You didn't
Cuss
listen.
was like Nostradamus when it came to that stuff. He had experienced it before. And I was prepared, but yes, I didn't want to listen. I thought I was special. I thought everybody else it could happen to, but not me. And that's what most guys think. It's not going to happen to me. How could it have to happen to me? I made more money than him in one fight than he did in his whole 25 years of fighting. How could that happen to me? I must be ordained by God. I must be
Alexander the Great.
Yeah,
That might be.
I must be yeah, I did think that.
I know.
I did think that. I think I must be a descendant of the great warriors of old, all the gods of war, because I'm winning with the most simplest of ease. How could these guys even dare fight me? You know, but it was really all about Cuss, and I forgot that. You know, I had a great teacher. You know, and not necessarily that I was a great fighter. I never think in my deep heart, I never think that I was a great fighter. I don't think I was a great fighter.
You didn't?
No.
Really?
No. But I'm an incredible student. I'm an astronomical student that I could project greatness without being great. And that's why I succeeded so much. I would quote books, I would quote stuff from great warriors, Pericles and all that stuff, and people would think that is incredible, you know? But it wasn't. It was just all illusions.
Show?
Yeah, and that's what comes with being a great entertainer. It's all about illusions. Listen, I'm going to beat 6,000 people, 6 billion people in a fair fight. Come on. And
as you said, it sounds good.
But it can be believed, but it doesn't necessarily have to be true. And I can project that belief in the minds of others.
I hate living like a peasant now. I don't know if I'll survive to the next day. I might just say f*** and jump and leave. Sometimes I can't sleep, and then you say I'm a waste. The only thing I did was fight, bring in the kids. My baseline normal is to destroy myself, and I still hang in the ghetto. I'm a ghetto rug rat. Sometimes I look over at Farid and say, who are we, Farid, when we go to a yacht? Why don't we go on a yacht in Saint-Tropez? Why are we with these broken niggers? Because they broke-ass niggers are our people. They're struggling day and night. I love those rotten, dirty motherfuckers, even though I can't trust them as far as I can throw them. I can take anything. I think about Nietzsche a lot. I know what the overman is. I know I can endure without killing anybody because I'm always close. Some people don't have any decency or respect. When we're out and we see a guy like that, I'm thinking, I wish we could say something. He would say something to my wife. I'd blow his brains out. Those people are out there, but I've got to stop thinking that way. I'm trying to restrain that, to be the new guy. But how much of my balls do I have to cut off to be this new guy? Quite a passage.